This is part 5 of our Shelf Unit Inventor project. So far we've created accurate component models or parts. We've assembled these together to create a realistic 3D impression of our shelf unit design. We've added materials and we've created a rendered image, or we can create a rendered image that gives a realistic impression of what our design would look like. So if we were going to produce this in a workshop out of real materials, what we would need to continue to do that would be to create production drawings. So what production drawings are is orthographic, usually laid out drawings which accurately show the shape of the objects or the components and show dimensionings and all the information that you require to build these or construct these components into your final shelf unit. So what we're going to look at is we're going to look at how we can lay these out into an orthographic drawing or drawings which give us the information that we will require. So I'm going to open an existing file. I have a template file. So this is a DWG file, which is a 2D drawing or AutoCAD type file. It's 2D only, and it basically allows us to lay out models into orthographic or other forms of drawings. So essentially this one is pre-made. I'm not going to go into all the details of how this is created in this video. Essentially we have a template in the background which you cannot alter, and we've got various text boxes in here which allow you to annotate your drawing. So first stage we're going to look at is how do we bring models or our components into this. So this one here, we're going to got 4 components, and we're going to place them all in this file or this drawing. So I'm going to open that up. Over here I've got a Windows folder button, and I'm going to navigate to where my design is. So I'm going to use the top unit one first, and when it brings it in, you get a shape there, and you just have to make sure that that is orientated in a way which is going to work for your design. So got scale here as well. In this case I'm going to leave this as 1:1 because it fits. So basically I'm going to position this about here, and at the same time, if I move this box up, it allows me to position a second view. In this case it would be a plan. So I right click on that, hit create, and that now positions my orthographic drawing. So I've got an elevation and a plan here. Okay. If I wanted to create another view from an existing drawing that I've already got, I can use this projected button. So if I click on that, you get a red dotted shape around the view. So click on that and then move it over, and then I can create, in this case I can create an end elevation. So we don't strictly need an end elevation in this view, but that shows how you can do that. So next stage is we're going to look at these annotations or text boxes. Now I've already created these in the left of my template. That is mainly to save time. So if I wanted to create from scratch, I've got annotation. If I press text, not where that's going to go in, and then there put test shelf in there. If I highlight that, I can change the size, I can change the font, make it bold, all these sort of things. And now I have my, hit escape to come out of that. Now I've got my new annotation there. Okay, so you can copy these as well. Come out of that. copy, click on the screen, paste, and then I can duplicate that. So basically you want to get one of these set up to how you like it, and then you can reuse that again. So I've got mine already set up, so I'm going to use them. So dimension tool, I'm going to look at putting dimensions on so I can so I could make this this object or component. And the idea is that I'm going to put, it's a relatively simple shape, is that I'm going to put just the amount of information that I need to build this. So first of all I'm going to delete that end elevation because I don't want that. So I've got I hit annotation, I've got my dimension tool, and same as in the sketch mode, normal file, click on that to make that shape or line to bring it out. I'm going to click on that, and I want to change the precision of this to 0, so I just have a round number there. So I've got 70 for the side, and I'm going to do the length a bit down here and hit that to 0. So the beauty of this is that this is all set up to British standards already, so the way the format this goes, position of the numbers, everything it does from an annotation point of view is all correct, so you don't need to think about it too much. So I'm going to, important size is that 12, so I'm going to position that, change that position again, and you can probably work out it's the same, but I'm just going to add that one again, and also I shall put in that this is 6 there too, so I know that it's half the size. I'll also put in the fact that that's 12. So when you're adding up, when you're putting in your dimensions, the normal way to do this, or British Standards way of doing this, if you've got a smaller dimension, that goes inside and the full sized one goes on the outside. So from that information now, I've got that is 12, that slot that comes out for the rebate joint, I've got the width is 70, I've got the length is 250, I show the 12 thickness, and that this rebate slot is going in 6. So that is really all the information that I require dimension wise for that component. So next thing is, what I'm going to do is, just to help clarify my information, I'm going to put in a 3D view of this as well. Mainly, I mean, it's not strictly necessary, but I quite like it because it gives you a visual 3D view of the view, and it's also fairly easy to do a few clicks. So the difference here is that I'm going to choose one of the ISO or isometric ones. It shows you up on the screen, so I'm going to choose the one I want. As you can see, that's far too big for the page, so I'm going to see if I can fit in a 1:2 half scale one here. So click on there and go OK. So in this case I've got a line drawing. I'm also going to see if I can move that over a little bit because that's overlapping, and while I'm at it I'll rename this as well. So this is top shelf, so you've got an annotation that tells you what this is. So this scale, double click on that, that's 1:2. The reason I've put an extra scale in there is because the whole drawing is scale 1:1, which was shown in that title bar at the bottom. So if I want to change this, for example, I can double click on that red box, I'm going to click on this blue shaded view here, and that gives us a shaded view, which is a little bit easier to understand. So I've also got my viewpoint annotations in there. So I've got plan, which tells me that's a plan view, and I've got an elevation, so I'm happy with that. So that's that view complete. So the next one I'm going to look at is I'm going to do the end. So hit base again, click on navigation window button, I'm going to select my side unit, and I'm going to choose the view which suits what I'm doing. So that looks about the right size, so that's fine. So click on there, drag that across, right click, and that creates our two views, nice and straightforward. So I'm going to go to Annotate, hit my dimensions. So I'm looking for the big dimensions first, so 12 for the thickness. I'm going to do the length here, so changing that position down to 0 again, so it's 150. What else do I need? I need the width, so I'm going to put that in at 70. Now, other information I need is I've got two different slot sizes here, so I'm just going to indicate what they are. So that's 3 millimeters, and I'm going to do this thin one for my metal sheet as well. When you're doing this, try and keep these annotation or these dimensions in line. So this time I'm going to put 1 decimal point because I want to show that's 1.2, and I'll also put in a dimension that shows that that is 4 millimeters deep. So last thing to do is just to indicate what the spacing of these are, so that's 48. And that one is, and again I'm going to line that up. And that one is also 48. Okay. So you could always work out what that is, but just for neatness I'll put that one in as well. So again, 1 decimal point for that one, 49.8. So let's click on Escape to get that, click on this, or edit text. Shelf side, and I'll also bring in place views, base view. I'm going to bring in a 3D view of this, so change that to 1 to 2. Now I want my ISO, so in this case, no, it's not the right model. It's the shelf one I'm looking for. So if you have a model which doesn't come in the right orientation, the button you're looking for is this change view orientation button here. What that does, if you click on that, that opens the model of your the actual model of your part, and then you can adjust this, you know, to the view you want. And that goes for side-on views as well. So say I wanted that view, that's now given me a different view of that. I can go back here, and maybe I want something that's a bit more closer to an isometric finish sketch there. And I'm going to change that to 1 to 4. It's a bit big. Let's try 1 to 2. So in this case, I will leave that like that, and I'm going to click on that because I want a shaded view of it. And there's a view. So in this case, what I need to fix that is I'll just move that out of the way so we can reposition this. So that's one of the great things about doing this digitally or with CAD work, is that you can save this and alter it as you go along. If you make any errors, or if you want to change, update it, you can do that as you go along. So while I'm thinking about it, I'm going to save this now, and I'm going to call that what's this, shelf unit. Shelf unit orthographic components drawing. So the title is very clear clearing the file. I'll save that. So now we've got that saved for next time. So next one we need to, so we've got, I think that's that complete there. So next one we've got our two shelves to put in. So click on the navigation button. I'll take the acrylic one first. Let's have a look which way that's coming in. Right, this time I'm going to put in a plan view of this because I don't need a so it'll fit in the page. So I'm going to change that to 1 to 2. So there's my plan in the relation over here. Right click to create that. And move this all up a little bit so there's enough space. So annotate dimensions. So I need the main dimension. So that's 2, 3, 4. I also need my width dimension. So that's 70. And the thickness of this, which is 3. So that's the basic dimensions I require. So also going to hit escape, got my annotation, I'll just name that components, put that down there somewhere, and I've got my plan and then the relation already there. So last one, place views. I'm looking for my stainless steel shelf. So again I need to change that view until I've got one that I'm happy with. Try and line that up with the other one just to make it look neat. So get that lined up, right click to create that. And again annotate dimensions 2, 3, 4. And it looks better if you use the same dimensions, easier to read as well. So get that, so it's going to line up. And then I just need to outline the thickness. In this case, I'm going to leave that 1 decimal point. Just need to move that down a little bit. Okay, so I'm just going to pinch this annotation because these two parts are different scale. Paste, I'll take that, put that over here. And I'll change that to scale 1 to 2. Okay, just copy that down here as well. Okay, so as we see, we've got our quickly we've got accurate drawings and we've got all the dimensions we need for that. So the last thing is I'm just going to rename this. So I've got orthographic components, that's okay. Shelf unit, that's okay. Just going to change the date. So it's 17th today. And the scale and everything else is correct. So I'm going to save that. And now I'm going to export that as a PDF so I can make use of it. Check the name, shelf unit orthographic components drawing. And that should open up in my browser. So now I have a orthographic drawing, accurate, it's got lots of information on it, all the information that I require to start building these components. It's got the information along the bottom, which project has orthographic, date, etc. So we're all ready to go.